I'll say one thing. Ridley Scott's comments to the French about not liking themselves is pretty damn funny. Chase Liaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing Napoleon. So what is about? Pretty simple premise. We're following Napoleon's life, if you want to put it that way, from when he started slowly getting some respect in the French government, in the French military, to the time he died, exiled on St. Helena Mountain, like 1,000 miles off the coast of Africa. So, did I like this film? I thought it was a pretty good film. I know a lot of people are not liking this film, and I can understand it. There could be some pacing issues. There could just be some storytelling issues. There could be some chemistry issues. There could be some just weird dynamics with this film. But I thought I learned something. I enjoyed the timeline. I enjoyed the battle sequences. I enjoyed what I watched on screen, even though I knew it was long and I knew I felt the runtime. I just refused to look at my watch. I didn't want to look at my watch. I didn't want to look at my phone. I wanted like, oh, what happens next? What happens next in this history lesson? Even though the history lesson might be completely false, but I was still intrigued by it. So when talking about the positives, I do think Joaquin Phoenix does a good job as Napoleon. He has this subtle just humor to it that I don't think it's supposed to be funny, but it is funny, and Joaquin Phoenix knows some scenes are supposed to be funny, like mentally or like subconsciously, and it does work. Now let's talk about the big thing that I enjoyed. Okay, you can say, yeah, the look, the production design, fantastic. I enjoyed the interior of these buildings, the exterior of these buildings, the landscapes, the scope, the just magnetrosities of just blah. You know what I mean, right? Which is when you look at something, you're just like, blah, blah, blah. And that's what this movie does when it comes to the scope, scale, and extras. And that is the biggest just thumbs up I can say about this film is the scope. And I'm just looking down the line of people. I'm looking at the background of most of these scenes. I'm like, that ain't CGI. If that's CGI, it's some of the best CGI I've seen. Then you go over here, you're like, yeah, that ain't CGI. There's no way that battle sequence is CGI, or just the amount of extras they're using. Because it's pretty simple. I do that on purpose. When I say, ooh, how much of this is actually fake or not? In this movie, I'll look at this and I'll look in the background, 3-4 characters behind. You know, that's a real person. That's a real person. That's a real person. That's pretty crazy. And you know what isn't real when you go to Moscow and you see the back buildings? You're like, okay, yeah, that's fake. You can completely tell that's fake. So that's how you know a movie is pretty solid of like, this is doing as much realistic isms as possible. Especially this scene where he's on the boat going to St. Helena. There's no way that's CGI. This Ridley Scott must have gotten a real boat. If that's a fake boat, give this Oscar to Napoleon for visual effects, bar freaking none. I just love the scope and the battle sequences. It felt so realistic, especially the scene where on the ice and people are like, oh, why is there blood? Because you're getting cut by the ice, by the boulder, by everything in between. So yes, there is going to be blood. And I think a lot of movies don't do that when they're falling in the water and grabbing onto the ice. There's no blood. There's going to be blood. You know how sharp that ice is? And so seeing that in this movie, you're like, damn, the realism is there, and it's just like a oh shit moment. Especially if there's an oh shit moment when you first see Napoleon kind of doing his first battle. That's all I'm going to say. You go, fuck. And it's a scene that just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, damn, that shit is crazy. Also, this could be a positive or a negative, and that is Joaquin Phoenix and Vanessa's Kirby's chemistry. I don't know if it was supposed to be this awkward or just this weird, but you can totally tell there's this weirdest chemistry of, do they like each other? Don't they like each other? Because there are scenes when Napoleon's trying to kiss Josephine, but, you know, she kind of backs away, but kind of takes the kiss. But then you hear these love letters back and forth to them, and you're like, do they actually love each other or not? So it is a weird dynamic of that. And the weird sex scenes. There's no nudity, but there's just a weird sex scenes. That's all I'm going to put it that way. You're just like, oh, that's kind of awkward. I don't know if I want to watch that with my parents. Like I said, no nudity, but you're just like, oh, that's really odd. That's odd right there. But yes, I can understand why people don't like this, because they probably wanted more action. They wanted more of a Braveheart. They wanted more, even like, you could call it a Patriot or Gladiator, like Ridley Scott's ones where it's balls to the wall. No, this one, we're trying to understand Napoleon, trying to understand Persia, trying to understand Austria, England, etc., and how they did this in this time. And you just gotta be like, holy fuck, that's how they fought back in the day. That's just so freaking crazy. And that's why I said, like, when watching Butcher's Crossing, where people just, I don't think people fathom how just fucked up the world was even 400, 300 years ago. It's just so crazy. And people want to focus on the minuscule things where it's like, look at the world as a whole. Then you have just like random people getting fired now for like saying some crazy shit about what's happening in Israel and Palestine, even though Egypt, Jordan, and Saudi Arabia won't take Palestinians either, but only Israel will. But apparently, anyway, like I said, people need to do some history. And that's what I said. Maybe I need to do some history lessons. I'll see how real this Napoleon movie actually was. But like I said, I can understand how people don't like this for the pacing, for the issues on that level, where people are thinking, okay, this is boring. Okay, we're going from, 1796 to 18 blah, blah, blah. Or we're going to like, there's time periods that are 6 to 8 years that, nothing happens or they're marching and you don't know what's happening. And, some people might be bored with that. Me, I wasn't. But I can understand why this movie didn't flick the booger for other people. What the fuck am I saying? Anyway, overall, Napoleon, to me, it is a pretty good battle sequence movie with pretty good acting and pretty good scope and just gravitas to it. Negative, yes, some pacing issues. And like I said, when you come out of movies, you expect like a, oh yeah. Here I was like a, oh. So Napoleon will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Futons, which equals that 70%. So see the critics' news scores gave this one. So if you have critics a 63% with 156 of them, audience score 66% with over 100. Critic consensus. Ridley Scott is intent on proving the Emperor has no clothes in Napoleon. A slyly funny epic with set pieces and a divided runtime that keeps it from outright conquering. Listen, Rotten Tomatoes, I'm not smart. Stop with these big words. 66, 63, 70. Chase it out here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. One of the things, Bluetontopia. You Bluetons, have a great day. Now I can watch today, tomorrow, week, from month, for a year, for every single freaking one of you. Did you like Napoleon? Yeah. To me, it worked overall.